And this is a plurality race. So unlike, for example, the Senate seat with Ken Paxton and John Cornyn, you don't have to hit 50%, but there's a pretty big field. Can you kind of give us an overview of the field of Republican and Democratic candidates running for this seat?
Sure. Yeah, there's no runoff. And if you look into the history of runoffs, they tend to be in southern states, and there's reasons for that have to do with segregation, as you probably know. So we don't have that in most northern states, and we don't have it here in Ohio. So on the Republican side, there was going to be a challenge to Max Miller, but because he is so close to Donald Trump, he's a former Trump staffer. His claim to fame was his nickname was actually the Music Man. He was the guy that was in charge of the playlist at Trump rallies, which is a questionable qualification for office. So there was a lot of pressure, even though there was a lot of dissatisfaction with him, even in the Republican Party, because he basically doesn't show up. And we can talk about that. He hasn't done a town hall in 2 years. So there's a lot of dissatisfaction with him, but the Republicans that wanted to run were basically pressured out of it. And then there's actually 8 people running in the Democratic primary. I know most of these folks, there's not big ideological disagreements. Some of us are more progressive than others, but everybody is running an aggressive campaign. I think we're running the most aggressive. And I would just say that for 2 reasons. Number one is, we did not take people's advice that said, well, look, Donald Trump won this district, so you need to go easy on Donald Trump. I don't believe in that. We're at a point in this country where if you don't speak out about what's happening, then I don't think you deserve to be running. So we have been very aggressive about what's going wrong with this administration, which is, in my opinion, a total travesty. And we also hit Max Miller on pretty much a daily basis. And we've been just super aggressive about talking to people. By the time the primary happens, which is going to be on May 5th, we'll have done 22 town halls, which I think is a record. And the turnout has just been it's really been inspiring. And I was active in politics for a long time. You just don't see that usually happening, 8-9 months before an election. Something is happening out there in the country. And I think we're tapping into it.
Yeah. And I know a lot of our listeners are going to appreciate you looking left instead of looking right when you want to build a coalition. But honestly, the way to do it, like you said, is to just look to what the voters and the constituents need and want, regardless of any of that sort of previous positioning. We can't do politics the old way. It doesn't exist anymore. And so this kind of canvassing and these town halls are critical to the success of a candidate.